Greetings and bienvenue. This one's going to be another long one, but it's the last stretch. So, hang in there. As Ella met with her parents, and the party slowly came back to the drunken horde, they each got introduced to Brenna and Brooke Garrick, and heard a well-known song that told of the Call of the Wild and their journeys and their traits. As the night went on, the party had a lovely time. Ulfgar gave the bucket of blood from Grimshanks to Hart, who says that he'd only pay after thorough testing after last time's incident. But the party finished up any latent business and went to bed. As they woke up in the morning, Finney told them that they had received some goods. 3 letters and several items. Items left from Erden, as well as a letter from Erden to the party, a letter from the necromancer to Krask about the pirates, and a more worn letter from Celine's mentor to her about losing contact and not being able to track down the necromancers anymore. With this, the party set out to do a few more things before getting information about their quest. Namely, Snake Creature Heart bought a picnic lunch from Finney and took Jiga on a lovely lunch date, where he would tell her about her life, tell her about his life, and she'd tell him about hers. During this, he mentioned about how his friend, Crow Creature Heart, was the one that helped him escape his company after them acting strangely. And Jiga would tell them that her business has been run in the family and that she's lived in Krakow her entire life. But that she would love to see the world and loves stories, though she's a little afraid to go see it herself. Snake tells her that he'd love to take her sometime and find ways that are more safe than what they've been doing or what they will be doing. The party then, after a while, came to the Temple of Hiawatha to speak with the voice of Hiawatha about this mission. The voice of Hiawatha wanted to set an alliance with the lizard folk of the swamp, that they may be able to call them for a time of need, and would hope to strengthen the island if anything happened. And reluctantly, I told the party to continue with this. And with that, the party went on their journey to the swamp, stopping by the Trousen family to stay the night before continuing on, finding small crocks in the swamp to stay for rations. During this time, Krask told Celine about his past as a gladiator, and that once he stole medicine to drug up a fellow competitor and beat him nearly to death. This was quite shocking, but Celine was pleased that Krusk felt comfortable with her to tell her this. The party would continue on and find that there's a lot more going on in the swamp than they would originally think. As they travelled through the swamp, the party came across a 12-foot tall tree-like structure that they found was not made out of wood, but was in fact a part of a large statue, one that must clearly be over 100 feet tall, and was quite ancient. Little did they know that this statue's history tied in all the way back to the Second Wake, a dark time in our world's history. The party also came across basilisks, and Snake was turned to stone, but luckily Krusk was wise enough to have a potion on hand to undo this petrification, allowing them to continue on without any effort and without losing any party members. As the party continued on, they found bullywogs out and about, and due to Ella's magical amulet, were able to get a gist of what they were saying. That they wished for sacrifices for their big blue frog god, and questioned among themselves that they could take on the party. Snake, being quick of mind, decided to give them some gold in exchange for leaving the party alone. Bullywogs, being very greedy and money-grabbing in all things that seem valuable, though not being able to take care of them well, gladly took this and started to fight among themselves, and gave this opportunity for the party to escape. Later on, the party came across lizard folk, and between two of them capturing a rather unique prey, a human. In fact, the party knew this human as Weckland, a companion of theirs way back when the goblin incident happened. He freed several bullywogs, as the party freed some bullywogs from slavery. Weckland volunteered to escort them back to their home. Apparently, this was the swamp. The lizard folk, not wanting to give up this Weckland, even if they wanted, even with the trade of a donkey that Snake had purchased previously. The party fought them and killed two of the three. With this, the remaining lizard folk, finding that the party is indeed strong, accepted their trade for Weckland and received the donkey along with Snake's rations. The lizard folk piled up the bodies of his dead companions on the donkey and led the party to the lizard folk camp. When the party arrived in the lizard folk camp, and finally spoke with the chief, a shaman of the lizard folk. It was a trying time to get through to the lizard folk about what a alliance is or what would happen. It finally came to about that the lizard folk fight a mouse folk to show that the mouse folk are not weak and should be left alone, to show that they are strong and thus should not be challenged. The lizard folk thought this was a good idea and showed the party their champion, a black-scaled lizard folk, almost twice the size of a normal lizard folk. With this, the party set about padding their bet, as they'd say, saying that they'd love to have a feast in honor of the lizard folk the day before the fight, and time to train the mouse folk. This seemed to work in the party's favor, as the lizard folk were fine to indulge on Dalfa's food, and it was set for 14 days. This was agreed upon by the party and by the lizard folk, the shaman grabbing a board of wood and carving 14 suns into the wood. The shaman offered to let the party stay in a hut and scared away lizard folks that would want to eat their horses. The lizard folk were thinking that this would be a great deal to, if nothing else, but to eat to their heart's content. Something that would be quite a treat for them to have, seeing as there was an ancient law forbidding them from entering Dalfa long, long ago. And the party deciding to get this word quickly to Delpha set Wakeland to run ahead and tell those of us back in town to what was going on. And with this, the party set out on the day after, noticing that the countdown was already commenced, as one of the suns was already crossed out. During their route back, the party came across more bullywogs, seeming to be more out and about than previously. They had a tussle with these bullywogs, and the bullywogs called reinforcements, and were then again placed down. But little was known about why these bullywogs were acting so aggressive compared to their usual nature. After their encounter with the bullywogs, the party hastened as quick as they could back to town. A lot of the days they spent traveling farther than they usually would. Several of their party becoming exhausted before cutting several days from their travel as they made it back to Delpha, and found that as they came back, their cart had been gone over and several items missing. The only chest remaining being a chest that contained torches and candles. This troubled the party, and as they came into the drunken hall, they talked with Finney about this. Finney was quite shocked, saying that in the time that he had been in Krakoa, there had been no robberies, and that this was extremely out of the ordinary. Now, this story continues on, but it's a long story, so I think this time we'll cut it into pieces and continue from there. See you later.